Let's take few deep breaths. With every breath out, release the burden of work, gadgets, home, people, past, and future. Become light like an angel. Let it all go, because it is time to be with the most neglected being, I, the soul. I am a pure, clean, and a fragrant energy. Just like Mother Nature, I am pure, selfless. Flower gives fragrance to all. Sun gives its light and warmth to every part of this world. Wind is cool and soothing to everyone. I, the benevolent being, also emits the fragrance of my love, peace, and happiness to every being. True self-respect is generated when I give to every being unconditionally. And I am the child of the most benevolent being. So I am naturally selfless and benevolent. My every thought is selfless, pure, and benevolent. I am a pure being. It's only when I think happiness, love, and peace are outside that I start becoming impure. I feel I will not get enough love. I feel love is limited like a physical entity. But when I realize that I am the creator of love, the child of ocean of love, then how can I feel any lacking of love? I am boundless, abundant in love. And the more I give love to others, the more my inner core creates it through thoughts and feelings. As a parent, my number one responsibility is to make the child experience true and selfless love. Parents' love is the key ingredient, the foundation for child's self-esteem. So I, the beautiful parent, showers my child with love, respect, and mercy. Every parent in this hangout is filled with maturity and kindness. Every parent in my city is filled with maturity and kindness. Every parent in our world is filled with maturity and kindness. Thank you, dear God, for making me kind and giving me a beautiful life. Welcome everyone once again to Vitamins for Smart Parenting. Like I said, today we will focus on the deficiency criticism. So let me actually first go ahead and make sure that I have unmuted you all, and then so that you can unmute if you have any questions or any thoughts that you'd like to share. Just give me a minute to do this. All right. I hope you had a good Diwali. If you celebrate Diwali, that was last week, so we didn't get a chance to meet. And then yeah, and next week is Thanksgiving. So just as an FYI, we would not have a class next week either, but we will meet after that for 2 more weeks, I believe, and then or 3 more weeks, and then we start another series later. So I have tried my best to unmute you all. I mean, allow you to talk. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to unmute yourself and talk. So we'll get started with this. Um, so to start off, right, we've always been doing this series of vitamins for smart parenting with identifying the root cause of every emotional deficiency that as a parent we might be feeling, and then really working on the damages. A lot of times, at least to me, understanding the full damage of any kind of deficiency we might have as a parent helps in creating this motivation that, oh my gosh, this is so damaging to me, my family, and my child. It inspires us to change, right? So that's why at Brahmakumaris, we are always taught profit and loss in everything. I feel it is very important. And the idea here is really not to repent over whatever we might have done. Really, it is just for future, right? I think we all have variety of different kind of specialities and also few deficiencies. So the idea here is to become better than what we were before and not to regret or repent on what we did in the past. Start it like a new beginning, right? So that's the intent of this class. So what is the root cause of criticism? As we know, criticism is basically a very negative feeling that is almost kind of using harsh words to convey that we disapprove, and many times that disapproval becomes very very hatred like, and it is not received really well. It generates a sense of shame in the child. And in early years, if we are using this method in one way or the other, early years, maybe the child doesn't know how to speak up as much and is taking it, is feeling very ashamed and low. But it's possible in teenager they start giving us back, but in the long run there is a lot of damage, as we will see. So the main reason for feeling passing on this critical feedback is really because we've been thinking a lot more about their weaknesses than strengths. Every time, some people have this kind of personality where they tend to always look on what is missing versus what is good, right? Like people who see glass as half empty versus half full. So, if we have the eye for looking only on weaknesses and focusing on that, putting our energy in that, one of the things that I have learned here at Brahmakumaris is wherever your attention goes, energy flows there. So, if my attention is on weaknesses, then every thought of mine will always be focusing on that weakness, and that weakness will actually grow. To me, I can only see weaknesses. If this is a personality I have where I focus on people's weaknesses, then I will be able to spot even the tiniest things. And sometimes it's all very illusionary. It might not be the full truth, but it's just the way I'm perceiving it, right? And not only just looking at the weaknesses, getting very disturbed by it, um, and then after being disturbed want to correct it. And when they are young, we will immediately use our words and start correcting them. But in time, when we realize that the kid has grown up and they are talking back, we continue to do it through our thoughts. So constantly thinking, oh my gosh, why are they doing this? So much mess. Why are they doing things like this? Why are they not doing it like that? So there's like they're still playing games. They should have started their homework by now, right? So these thoughts are going inside. We might not be speaking it, but it is critical thinking that is going on. And there is also this sense of ego that my evaluation is right. And indeed, this is a huge mistake that needs to be corrected. And as a parent, I know what is right and what is wrong. So there's this utter focus on weaknesses that causes us to develop criticism. Another reason could be that in our upbringing, it's possible that we got this kind of criticism, by our caretaker. At least quite a few parents that I know, coming up from India, they believe that it's important to give a lot of critical feedback. Otherwise, the child will have unnecessary overconfidence or superiority complex. So they need to be grounded. So they give a lot of critical feedback. So feedback is good, but generating it through criticism is what causes all kinds of problems, which we will see. And I agree to some extent that it can't be all good, good, and good. That is also not perfect. We need a balance, because suppose if we raise a child where we don't give them any kind of feedback, in fact, even when people are coming and telling us that, hey, your child's this behavior, especially suppose it's a teacher, the child's this behavior is causing a disturbance in the entire class, or your child's the way they are talking is not respectful at all. And I, as a parent, instead of really correcting my child, I am so like attached to my child, I can't see any flaw, and I don't believe in giving any kind of feedback. I still keep praising, and I go ahead and change the child's school. Every anybody who points the flaw, I cut them off, I defend my child, and I keep supporting my child. This child is not prepared to face the world. Everybody in the world is not just going to protect and defend your child, right? They're going to give honest feedback. And this child is not used to receiving any kind of feedback, will struggle a lot. So yes, feedback is important. It's the way we deliver it that matters the most. And so it's good. I would encourage you all to think, if you had a kind of upbringing where there was a lot of criticism, it could be at school, it could be some of your friends, or it could be your family. If you've gone through this unknowingly, even though you might have not liked it at all in your childhood, unknowingly we adopt a lot of things which have been used on us. They stick on to us, and now we start using it on our kids, even though we didn't like it while growing up. So, spirituality always shows us the mirror to tell us, is this something that we are affected by? It shows us the symptoms, it shows us the knowledge of, what damages this might cause. The second aspect of this is our self respect is totally based on correcting others. There's a sense of pride in finding mistakes and telling people, hey, you are wrong. By putting others down, there is a sense of feeling higher up. This is nothing but ego, which is very, very deceptive. It makes us think, hey, I know better. I could find so many flaws in others. I could give them advice and guidance. But if that giving of guidance and advice is where you're feeling great that you could find a mistake and put someone down, this is very subtle. So, very honest way of looking at ourselves is good. And to ask ourselves this simple question, right? Can anyone be great when we are looking down on down on others, feeling a sense of joy in finding mistakes in others? It's a very subtle thing that ego does. There are many people who love to correct others, every small little detail, so that they can feel superior. When the basis of self respect is based on finding mistakes in others, finding flaws in others, so that I can feel better, that at least I don't have that mistake, that self esteem is so fragile. First of all, we'll never feel confident, but on the other hand, we are also taking away somebody else's confidence. Um, and it's also a way of not looking at ourselves. We might be filled with our own set of flaws, but it's a way of escaping from it by focusing on others' flaws and feeling that at least I don't have so many. And it's a little bit sadistic, and maybe also little um, irony like, but this is one more thing that causes parent to create criticism. Their sense of respect is dependent on this, on pointing someone's mistake out. So there are a lot of assumptions that I know better, um, and that is why I'm pointing out as a parent, it's my responsibility. But check if there is any subtle registration of feeling great that you found out someone's mistakes and you put them down. Um, what are the damages from criticism? These two are the major categories. There are many more, but just in the interest of time, wanted to highlight few. The biggest thing this does, the biggest damage is it takes away the esteem of the child. Um, we might not even realize, but if we are continuously correcting every little detail of a child, and yes, by teenage, they might start responding back and fighting with us, but inside their confidence and their self esteem completely shakes. For a child, the sense of confidence comes at an early age only through the parent. Their unconditional love and support is the basis of confidence. There is no other way. We might all focus a lot on they should become, they should have a lot of external accomplishments like great grades or be good in sports or music so that their confidence will go up. Yes, to some extent it does, but that unshakable confidence and esteem that we want in child, that comes only through love. When a parent unconditionally accepts the child, focuses only on their strengths and enhances those strengths, empowers those strengths, that child becomes so confident. They will excel and they will accomplish everything externally too. You don't even have to try hard. But the one who is weak, has not received that love, instead received a lot of criticism, no matter how much they achieve in life, they will not have that confidence. They will always be fearful that what if someone gives me a critical feedback, because they've received a lot from the parent. They always feel that someone will disapprove. And yes, it does create a, even when they grow up, there are many kids who feel the hurt of disapproval. No matter what I did, my parents always corrected me. They pointed it out, right? So, yes, criticism, I'm talking about an extreme case here where you are non-stop being very, very critical to an extreme. But many of us do it at one dosage level or the other. Maybe we are not at the extreme level, but even if we are coming, suppose it is 1 to 10, 10 being the extreme, even if I'm at level 3 to 5, there is a lot of room for us to improve. And early years are the best year for the kids to develop that confidence, right? Um, and indeed, home starts feeling like a prison because everything the child is being told, this should not be done like this, it should be done like this, right? So they feel as if even if I breathe, somebody is going to tell me something. It comes to that level where they can't breathe because every small little detail, there is a correction. And indeed, then once the child grows up and then they start talking back, there is a lot of quarrel that goes on. Parent continues to have their ego that I know better. Teenager develops that ego too. What do you know? We are more smarter than you. Our generation knows better. So there is this fight and struggle. Um, and this also causes the child to develop this personality of becoming critical. The one that goes through a lot of this criticism develops that personality trait and goes through a lot of guilt. So criticism is a way of making the other person feel guilty, feel bad for their mistakes, right? So this child will constantly try to be a perfectionist, and because they can never meet their own expectations, they go through an entire life of guilt. So, and we all know guilt is nothing but 24 by 7 anger at the self. So, how much damage can this criticism really do? Not only to the child, but also, to the family's peace itself, because it becomes like a war home, right? Where there's constant battles going on. So, talking about the vitamin C for curing criticism, right? So, we talked about how we are focusing more on weaknesses, and that is why that energy which is rejecting or disapproving the child is coming. So, it's every day. Highly recommend, again, meditation is key and foundational. Everything we are talking in the class will evaporate like you had never heard it before. Nothing stays in the mind for long, right? Unfortunately, especially good things, they don't stay unless we use it in real life immediately, or every day in meditation we remind. And practically in meditation, bring up the specialities of your child. Feel that love for your child in meditation. Send that loving good wishes to your child in meditation. Send the loving feelings to your entire family. Those strengths of every family member should be stuck here in our awareness, like they will never ever get unstuck. Really, um, a glue of, that can never be unglued, right? That's the kind of glue we want to use, and that is nothing but meditation. Because very quickly throughout the day, especially if we are so busy at work, so caught up in everything nowadays environment, and constantly feeling stressed, we won't even realize when we have started looking at weaknesses of our family members. And then once we start looking, this thoughts here start, this is wrong, that is wrong, this is wrong. So you stuff your mind with lot of negative thoughts of criticism inside. One day that closet will open. Where? Through the mouth. And we will start yelling and saying all kinds of disrespectful things to our family members. So that is why it's better to fill this closet inside with lot of strengths, that even if there is one or two registration of the negativity that we noticed, at least when it comes out, it won't be that bad and ugly, because we also stuffed a lot of compliments, right? They're beautiful specialities. Bottom line is, a, a child or any person makes a mistake because they didn't know better, or because they didn't have the power or wisdom to do the right thing, right? That's why the mistake happened. So a person who is weak made the mistake. Now criticism is not giving strength for to correct that mistake, right? It's in fact taking away the power. So mistake was made because the child didn't know better, is weak either in intellect, weak in something or the other, right? So I need to give some strength so that that mistake is not made again. And that strength is nothing but power of love. There is no other way to correct or transform someone's behavior other than giving them that faith and love that I believe in you. Versus criticism is basically saying you can never change. You are so bad. This is wrong about you. This is also wrong about you. Anybody can do that, especially a parent. Very easy. Calling bad, bad, not a greatness. But what can I offer to help my child correct it? That is the important part. So if I focus on how I can help my child without even pointing the mistake, without even making it a big deal, how can I help? If I have that kind of an outlook, I'm already feeling a lot of love for my child. I'm already wanting to be partnering and teaming up with my child, versus that egoistic sense of finding mistakes and telling it to others. Hey, your problem, you figure it out. This is the problem in you. I am telling you it is wrong. And sometimes it's also is good to also check, do I even have to correct it? Is it really that, is it that um, critical that I provide this feedback? Can I let it be? Or do I want to find and fix every little detail? It's good to choose rather than, because this has a very direct impact on the child's confidence. If I am too much finger pointing and trying to correct every little thing, giving them how to tips on every little detail, it takes away their confidence. So it's good to, one more exercise we all can do is note down in an entire week, how many instructions have I given to my child? How many feedback have I given to my child? It's good to note down. And how many compliments did I give to my child? Note it down and weigh it like this, right? And see, where am I standing as a parent? And really be centered in pure self respect. When we don't realize who we really are, and when our respect is only based on our external roles and accomplishments, then that kind of respect is very fragile. So if my respect is based on what kind of a mother am I, what kind of job I'm doing, how am I looking, how much money am I earning, how many people listen to me, if this is the basis of my self respect, then I don't really have any. So then how will I start gaining? By putting others down, by finding mistakes in them. It becomes a very crude and to some extent an evil way of feeling better, by finding mistakes in others. So really understanding who we truly are is very, very important. There's a beautiful Raja Yoga meditation course, if you haven't taken it, starting on December 5th, where we talk about who we really are. And also, the meditation is key in connecting to our true self. So, simple fact is, we are all spiritual energies, like this tiny dot sitting here in the middle of the forehead. And this is the physical body, our medium through which we are playing the roles, expressing ourselves, and experiencing life. So, when I stabilize my true self in the inner qualities I have, and that how will my pride get enhanced? If I focus on my inner qualities and what I can do as a parent to help the child, that is when the true self respect arises. We will lose our respect in the child's eye and in our own eye if it is based on finding mistakes and correcting them, constantly trying to correct them, right? So instead of, so it's good to check, how is my self esteem? Meditation is, I feel, one of the key ways to connect to our inner core, know ourselves fully, our strengths and our weaknesses. When we know ourselves fully and start developing that respect based on our inner qualities, then we will not do anything externally that will damage somebody else's confidence for us to feel better. Um, Lastly, this was just the last slide, and after that, open to questions if you have any. So, what do we do, right? As a parent, like I just started in the beginning, indeed, it is very important to share feedback with the kids, because if it is just where we are not giving any kind of feedback at all, then it creates another kind of issue where they might become, they might have this arrogance that I am the best and there is no flaw in me at all. And if we give over feedback, too much of rejection, that creates different kind of problem where the child has low self-esteem. So there is a difference between rejecting the behavior versus rejecting the child. So when we reject the child itself, this is where it becomes a critical, and This is something that only you and you can do by sitting with yourself and being fully honest. So, majority of us are taught to use beautiful words and actions like etiquettes and manners, right? Everybody politically be right. And then, so with beautiful words, we might, this is an ugly picture though, but with beautiful words, we might try to tell the child and give them feedback. Hey, this was wrong, that was wrong, you could have done it like this and that. But internally, I might have rejected, oh my gosh, how could they do this again? How many times have I told them and yet they keep doing the same thing? Will they ever learn? I don't think I have any hope at all. So if I have sent the rejection energy, already I know I've given up on the child. And then if I use whatever words I use, whether I use harsh or whether I use sweet, because I created a rejection inside, the child will reject my feedback. If they are young and they don't know how to fight it out, then yes, when you are around, they will listen. But internally, they have rejected. I'm never going to do that. So, check if we are, so the rejection can be felt. If I have rejected my child and I'm feeling critical, there will be a lot of anger and hatred inside of you. And you'll also have this feeling that nothing will, this child's future looks bleak. I don't think they can ever change, they can never ever do good in life. These are the kind of feelings when we have criticism inside of us, where we have rejected the child versus rejecting the behavior, not the child. As a parent, I think whether a parent or anyone, we should never reject anyone. I think we all understand this very well at the theory level, that we shouldn't be disrespectful. Rejecting in a way is disapproving. You are wrong. You, the individual, is wrong. It's literally pointing fingers like this. And very beautifully said, when you point one finger at someone, four are pointing towards you. This is said in India very popularly. If point one, there are four more pointing at you. And indeed they are. But this is the difference between just rejecting the behavior versus rejecting the person itself. So rejecting the person means disrespect for that person, that you are wrong. Versus rejecting the behavior means inside full confidence. My child is loving, will do good, has many specialities. There are certain things in the behavior which need to be corrected. I am 100% confident they will do well, and all of these small follies or mistakes that exist, they will also go away in time. Overall, they are beautiful. This is the kind of feeling inside. That means I am not at all critical, but I am a well balanced parent who loves the child and only for the sake of child's benefit is wanting to give the feedback. And if the child, for example, doesn't take it, the parent will not be upset, because this had nothing to do with their expectations or for them to feel better. They did it selflessly for the benefit of the child, and they have full confidence that in the long run the child will get it. Maybe right now they are not getting it, but the parent has full confidence that they will get it in time, so they're not upset when the feedback is not received. If I am upset after giving a feedback when the child rejects it, it really means that I had this ego that my feedback was right, why didn't you listen? Now I am feeling hurt. I gave you such a great advice, you're not taking it, I am hurt. Versus I gave you this advice only for your better life. You don't want it, that's okay. I know in time you will realize. And it's a choice you're making. I support your choice, period, done. So, how do I, when I look at the wrong behavior of the child, it could be anything. It could be the way their hygiene related habits. Maybe there are some that you don't like at all. It could be the way they keep their room. It could be their studying habits. It could be their eating habits. There are multiple things, right, where we don't like certain things, and as a parent, for their own good, we want to give advice. But when we make our self respect dependent on how obedient is my child, then I can feel good and respectful. That's where all kinds of problems start happening. So I accept their current behavior could be hygiene not up to my standards, room up to not my standards, whatever it is. I accept the current behavior. This is called power of tolerance. And tolerance comes by accepting the truth. Whether the truth is ugly, dark, whatever it is, I accept it. Today's generation is less on cleanliness, is less on healthy food, is less on all of this. I accept. But as a parent, my role is to continue providing all kinds of good tips and guidance. And for me, this I keep telling myself, and I want to share it with you. Maybe you've noticed it too. I, with my mom, generally till teenage, I always had some or the other argument with her. So many tips she would give me, and she made me, forced me to learn lot of life skills like cooking, cleaning, everything. And I didn't like it one bit, but she almost forced me to learn everything. To date, my heart thanks her for doing all of that. That time, I didn't appreciate it. I rejected many things. But now I know the importance of every little detail and I'm using everything she taught me. I didn't use it then. In fact, I was mad at her for doing so much of feedback. But now I appreciate it. All of that is part of me. So I feel at least, none of parents' effort done with all the good intention and love doesn't go wasted at all. So, one is to accept their current behavior, that whatever they're doing is right. This is what it is right now. Today's kids, this is how they are. Then accommodate their behavior, that it is okay. My guidance, my support will change them. They will learn. And overall, they're already beautiful. They have so many specialities. So, there is a huge difference between rejecting the child versus rejecting the behavior. Um, and when we internally have accepted the child, right, we feel very beautiful, even though there might be one big thing, their behavior in one big thing which we don't like. It could be the studying patterns, the sleeping patterns, could be anything we really, really dislike. But overall, I have such a good thoughts and feelings about my child. If with that kind of love and energy I deliver the feedback with a lot of respect, it won't be rejected as easily as this one will, because this one started internally with a lot of rejection. So I already rejected the child will reject my feedback. Here I am accepting the child, just pointing mistakes in some behavior that is harmful to them. So, that kind of feedback, if it is not accepted right now, they will certainly accept it at a later time. This is my experience. Um, and I feel it is the energy with which we give feedback that matters a lot. Clean energy. Inside, also, I feel good about the child. And outside, also, I'm using beautiful words. It's not outside use beautiful words and inside think garbage. That is a form of dishonesty. So it's important to take care every day to develop that love for the child inside out, right? Inside, I should have a great image of my child with their strengths and weaknesses, but heavily focused on their strengths. With that, I want to kind of now open it up to questions. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Um, we come to the end of the presentation aspect of it. Any questions? No questions? If you have questions about the last two classes, like we talked about anger and we talked about bondage, any questions about that?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. So I had a question. Like, um, I have I had my distant cousin, and he had some habit of, chewing gutka, which is not healthy, and the entire family was very healthy. But his mom was very cool in nature and very, like, always smiling, and everybody liked her nature and all. And at home it was a very healthy food, always cooked, and everybody enjoyed that. And then he, after a year, means I'm here, so I didn't know what was I was not up to date of what was. Then he had cancer, and then he died early, uh, not so early, but in, I mean, just early 60s. And then when I had visited the place, then I said, "Oh, how come it happened? The home, he was so active, and the food was at home, it's so healthy." Means I always used to stay there and see it. Then one of them said, "Oh, he was continuously having this, and he had developed that habit." So, and these situations, when should the parent become more stricter or like that? When suddenly some habit goes into the life, threatening things.
Yeah. I mean, it's only up to 18 that we can really be like put our foot down, right? After that, you can't even put your foot down. Really, they're adult, independent, and free to make choices. And even if you force them or whatever, they're not going to be with you. So, how do you know that they're not doing it when you're not around, right? So, as a parent, there's only so much you can do. Sometimes we take unnecessary burden, that as a parent I can make their life, as a parent I can break their life. It's important to acknowledge that no, everybody comes with their own destiny. So that's also an ego that I could have prevented, I could have done. Yes, as a parent, when you find them either starting to smoke or starting to eat things like tobacco, which will cause them health issues later, we should certainly speak up and tell them with a lot of concern. But after that, I think you have to let it be. It is their choice. And constantly giving feedback and pushing them or emotionally blackmailing them might actually cause them to cut down the relationship fully. So at least they had good relationship till the child was around, right? So I
Yeah,
feel,
they were in the same place. They stayed same till the end. She
yeah.
served during this disease and all, but she is very mild and very cool, and means always smiling, good to everybody, and never says, means can never be harsh to anybody. But uh, yeah, so sometimes we feel if she could have done, even if she is 80 and he was 60, it could have prevented. Like,
I don't think a parent can really. This is, yeah, it is really destiny. Yes, it is. You can advise, but these are choices, right? As an adult, there's so many people who are smoking and doing all kinds. If parents could have controlled, then this whole world could have been perfect, right? So I think there's nothing really much we can do here once they are adult. We can only guide, but they will make the choices they have to.
yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions on anger or bondage or criticism? Uh, I think the Zoom invite does have that. The Zoom invite, if you notice, has the email address. So please look out for it. Also, as an FYI, all the recordings are for the upcoming parenting classes are being stored in our YouTube. So if you go to BK, if you go to the website svbrahmakumaris.org, there is a YouTube link on the top. And then you can get to our YouTube channel and the parenting classes, the recordings are there. Yeah, please go ahead, Vaishali.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
So you mentioned meditation is a great way to help you with our inner strength to be able to have better relationships with your kids and your family. Do you have any suggestions on any kind of meditation or where we can access any guided meditations or any tips on that?
Sure. Have you tried Raj Yoga meditation? Have you learned Raj Yoga meditation, taken the
Yeah,
course?
yes, I've taken it last week, the 5 classes.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, one is we have every day 7:30 to 8 meditation, and this is also streamed on YouTube, where some of us conduct this live meditation, and we stream it, and it's on various different topics. Right now, we are doing 10-day positive attitude pledge, and next month December we are going to start on 21-day goal to cleanse habits. So this meditation commentary is completely geared towards either building positive attitude, this is this time series, versus next month is the commentary will be totally based on changing or cleansing our habits. I will share with all the parents links to some meditation commentaries. um, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there. Thank you, Pallavi. And she's sending some links as well, um, which have our YouTube recordings and channels. But yeah, highly recommend the evening 7:30 to 8. That is more catered towards our young new students.
What time did you say?
7:30 to 8.
7:30 to 8.
And
And
also the
it's,
sorry, go ahead.
oh no, just off this link right here. Okay. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay.
I was just saying that there is a playlist on the Brahmakumari's YouTube channel, which has a lot of links to English and Hindi meditation commentaries, and a lot of things are there. So I usually go there and pick something every day. Yeah, just wanted to share.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think meditation is really critical to bring about really strong changes in ourselves, which strengthen our roots, like you just said, and then everything else falls into place, right? Like there's this famous story about a woodcutter who would every day be able to chop at least 15 to 20 trees every day. And then after a few years, somehow he could only chop 10 trees. So he started getting up early, even more earlier, and then stayed for longer time. But still, the number of trees he could chop kept going down. He started sleeping early, trying to take care, but yet, The number of trees he could chop kept going down. So one day his friend sees him and says, "Oh my gosh, you look so tired. What is going on? Are you okay?" And he tells him his plight, that, how hard he's working, and yet he's not able to earn enough money. His kids are starving. And the friend says, "When did you last, get your axe sharpened?" And the woodcutter says, "I don't know." Then he said, "Well, that is the problem. You need to get your axe sharpened." And he's like, "Are you kidding me? I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of my health. I need to rest. And then I need money. I don't have time for getting this sharpened." And the friend tries to tell him. He says, "No, I have no time. I have to take care of too many things." And the friend doesn't know what to do. It's, to some extent, this story is everyone's life in this world. No time for taking care of ourselves. Well, taking care of ourselves just doesn't mean taking care by eating good healthy food and exercising. That is only part of it. Taking care of the self is really the inner being, our thoughts and feelings. That is the axe through which we are chopping everything, doing everything in life. If that is not sharpened, if that is filled with fear, sadness, disappointments, anger, then that is the axe we are using to do everything, whether it is relationships or work. I can't enjoy work if this is here disturbed. So we are doing the hard work of trying to fix everything externally. The friend was saying to do the easy work, fix this. And we find this the most hardest because we have not done it before. And for me, I have started putting water here, taking care of my axe. I can't tell you how many more trees I can actually chop. My productivity is exactly twice than what it used to be 6 years back. I am doing so much more. Why? Because this here is so silent and peaceful for no reason. Otherwise, I had to work hard to be peaceful, go take early morning walks, listen to some music. But now, just for no reason, smiling, just for no reason, happy. Why? Because I've taken time to sharpen my axe here. So I hope you all take the time. If you've not taken the course, take it. And if you have taken the course, do meditation every day. And meditation also is only partially beneficial till we don't learn how to think properly, right? And Brahmakumari's knowledge is all about changing our thoughts. Really, it is, we have to change our thoughts, because if morning I meditate but whole day I create negative, angry, fearful thoughts, after some time I'll give up meditation because this mind will not focus, right? So that is why here we are taught every day there is a Murli class, which is a spiritual discourse, bunch of thoughts. And I use everything I'm sharing is coming from that spiritual discourse. It's a wholesale. I bring it like a retail shop. We then make retail shops and conduct these classes, but the wholesale knowledge is coming from the spiritual discourse. So if some of you are not attending that, please contact the center for the link to the Murli class. Highly recommend it. That's my source, at least for all the classes I'm holding here, or each one of us at Brahma Kumaris, including Sister Shivani, if you know her. Her source is also the spiritual discourse. Each one of us is connecting directly to the source and then sharing all this knowledge. With that, next week, like I said, we don't have a class, but we will come back again on in the week of December. It will be December 6th, I believe. So till then, hope you have a warm Thanksgiving. And if you have a minute, please stay back for meditation. I am a warm, loving, and a patient parent. is filled with love and admiration. Every member of my family, as I bring them up one by one, is special, majestic, unique, and endearing. I have a family that is enriched with unique set of qualities. How much as a parent I can learn from my kids, their innocence, their enthusiasm, their never ending excitement. I, the humble parent, not only teaches but ends up getting taught by my beautiful family. The bond within our family is tied with the warmth of love, the strength of faith, and nothing can break this beautiful bond. I have full faith in my family and their bright future. I am a blessed parent. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I'll see you on December 6th for the next class. Have a good evening and a good
Thank you.
Thanksgiving. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Om Shanti, sister.
Thanks, sister. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti everyone.
Thank you, Meghna. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you.
Shanti. Thank you.